Haha, it's Katie, and I thought I'd be done with college app videos when I finished them, but you know, if there's a will, there's a way. And also, if there are a lot of people requesting it like you, then there is, of course, a way. But yes, after I did my 2 How to Get into the Ivy League videos where I interviewed my friends and broke down the entire application process from stats to essays to teacher recs to interviews, everything. So over winter break, I went back to my high school and interviewed some class of 2023 students who got amazing schools, early action decision, and we're gonna do the same thing with our applications. So hopefully you get a better idea of what it takes to get in one of these top schools. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Katie and I'm a freshman in college at Cornell University, and I upload college lifestyle videos. A lot of exciting college content will be coming up, so make sure to subscribe. I upload videos every week. And before I start, I just wanted to say a very important quick mention because I've been getting a lot of questions recently asking me for specific college advice because you guys are in high school, and I've been trying my best to reply on Instagram DMs, which you can easily just hit me up at @KatieX social media. But that said, I've noticed a lot of you want even more personalized and professional guidance with your application, with experts looking over your essays or practicing interviews with you. So for those of you who are willing to pay and are highly motivated students, I will recommend you to GOFURTHER Careers. They provide admissions consulting services, and they specialize in the top 20 US schools. I'll link them down below if you're interested, and I actually reached out to them about getting a discount code for you guys to make it more affordable. So they're not paying me for this video. I don't get commission from this. I just want to be able to help you with your application. So if you want 30% off, use the code Katie30 in all caps when you check out. And that's all. I'll link them down below, and without further ado, let us meet some class of 2023 students.
I'm David. I'll be going to Harvard. I'll probably be majoring in economics with a side to applied math.
My name is Jaime. I will be attending Dartmouth College. Kind of torn between potentially doing government or economics.
I'm Annika. I'm going to be attending Duke University in the fall, and I will be majoring in mechanical engineering with hopefully a minor in theater studies.
Hi, I'm lopezz, and I got an admission offer to Pennvention 2023 for Princeton, applying to computer science.
1580. My predicted is 45 and GPA 7.0. Math 2 and physics 800 each.
I had a predicted of a 43 and my SAT was a 1450.
It was kind of like a 34, but I think as long as you're like a 32 and above is pretty okay because you don't want to spend too much time focusing on standardized testing. For GPA, my predicted was a 43. My final GPA was around like a 6.6 to 6.7.
For my SATs, I got a 1520, and I decided to focus on my subject tests, which were for Math 2 and Physics, and for both of those I got an 800. I got predicted.
So I have student government. I was in the high school council for 2 years, and then I was in class council as president in my freshman and sophomore year. Other activities that were on my Commonapp included robotics. We competed a few times in Taipei and then went to the Worlds. I participate in academic bowl, do a bit of swimming, MUN, and then I've got this ADB internship that I'm really passionate about.
I played rugby in and outside of school. I was part of the Philippine national team. I got into contact with the Dartmouth rugby coach well before I applied. Along with that, I'm in student government. I'm currently the public relations officer, and I really enjoyed it.
In my Commonapp, I categorized into 3 different branches. So I had arts, school spirit, and service. For arts, I'm a part of my school's dance varsity team, and I joined it since my freshman year, and this year I'm actually the captain. I also got to travel with them for international cultural conventions for 3 years. I was the lead in my school's musical last year, and I also did a concert in Resorts World to raise funds for the families affected by a terrorist attack there. For school spirit, I'm the president of our school's athletics committee. I'm also vice president of our school's student ambassador program, so we just help out with new students and help integrate them into high school. For service, I had an outside school service group called Energizing Engineers. I'm also the president of my school's National Honor Society.
I'm the president of Robotics Club in our school. I also founded the Code Club. Outside of school, I take the National Olympiad of Informatics. As for non-computer science related things, I'm the student director for the middle school play. I was also part of VAC for 3 years. Within student government, I'm Annika's co-vice president in the student ambassador.
For the application, I put 3 awards that I got in school. One is the leadership, one is the math, and the other is the economics. And then I put 2 that I got from robotics. It was tournament championships and this Amaze award, yeah.
I had a leadership award in my freshman year.
I did join track and field for my freshman and sophomore years. So I put how I got a bronze medal in the 100-meter dash in an international competition and a silver for the 4x1 relay. I also had the physics award in my sophomore year.
Within school, I've received the leadership award twice and the service award once. The robotics club also hosts this event called the Maker Fair every year, for which they give an award regarding like who has the best project, and I've won that award 3 times.
I asked my economics teacher and my math teacher because I thought it relates to the side I was going to apply to.
I asked my English teacher and my economics teacher to write me my recommendations. It wasn't really based on like what grade I had in that class, it was more based on my relationship with the teacher.
I chose teachers in the subjects that I didn't necessarily have the best grades in. In fact, I think they were the subjects I struggled the most in. I picked my math teacher because I feel like he was able to see my improvement, and I think by seeing me struggle, he also saw how I was able to cope with maybe not getting the best grades in a test and how to improve from that myself. I also picked my English teacher because I feel that he was really able to see me grow as a writer, and also for STEM, I thought it also gave a good insight into something that wasn't necessarily in my field. English teachers, they're a lot more eloquent than they write, so they're able to describe you holistically as a student and as a person.
For my STEM related teacher, I asked my computer science teacher to give me a recommendation.
I did many drafts and like scrapped many before I settled on this one about like paradox, but I think it's just the theme that kind of runs through. It mainly talks about how participate in a very wide range of activities, and while there seems to be like no like central like focus, I felt like it really helped me get to know the high school better, really gauge my interests, and really sometimes I feel the idea that less is more isn't always true, and sometimes more is more can also work. I talked about student government as my extracurricular essay, and I also wrote about my ADB internship as one of my supplements.
For my Commonapp, I chose the first prompt, which is some people have an identity, background, or something that isn't part of your application. Like this is where you can write about it. So I wrote about my smile and saying it's pretty much how like a smile is far more simpler than just like a facial expression. It can like build like bridges between like people you've never met, kind of like interacting like in service outreaches.
I'm full Filipino, but I basically wrote how I felt westernized my whole life. So I talked about how I feel like I had a lot of American influences and how I never really felt Filipino when I was growing up. It transitioned into how I take these Filipino influences and integrate them in my different activities.
I talk about my love for creating things. Like as a kid, how I always spent time making random things, like maybe buildings using Lego and dinosaurs using clay. And I kept doing that as I grew older. I realized one day that due to family circumstances, I needed to support my family. And I came to the conclusion that I could still do what I love to do, which is creating things while supporting my family. And so the only thing I had to do was to develop my skills with creating. So I found like lots of different opportunities to display what I can do until I ended up here in our school. Princeton also requires another essay when it comes to engineering. It talks about like how you pursued your interest within engineering and why you're interested in taking it in Princeton. So for that specific essay, I talked about my internships like outside of school and my robotics projects. After that, I mentioned like different Princeton classes and the organizations that I want to join within Princeton.
We started off with some really basic information, but I think one of the most important things is just be yourself and like talk really naturally, and I guess go wherever the conversation goes, because we started talking about music, and I guess music is not the main focus of my academic side of high school, but then it's really something that I've continued all 4 years through symphonic band.
I think it went pretty well. We kind of strayed off talking about Dartmouth College, and we kind of started talking about like government, like global politics, which I think it was a good sign because we both easily exchanged our ideas and deep thoughts about like what we thought about the world. So pretty good.
I was very lucky with my interview because she was a parent at our school, and she was very kind and casual when it came to like conversation. She started like opening up to questions, and whenever you're getting an interview, it's always important to have questions ready for her, especially in regards to the university you're applying to. And that way she knows that you're actually interested in that university and you know why you're applying there.
In my own opinion, I felt like there was no one thing that's like the hook. I feel like before, when I hear admissions officers say like, holistic admissions, I feel like, oh, they're not telling us much, but then now I feel like there's no one thing that will make or break an application. I felt that it's really just building up all these things. Like if you take one part away, it might not fall, but then everything together that really makes an application.
It was also how I packaged myself. I feel like I definitely worked all angles in terms of my application. I also followed what I thought was what I really genuinely enjoyed.
So my counselor talked about this thing called the stickiness factor, and it's basically aspects of your application that appeal to the school you're applying to. So I was scared since I didn't have a background in robotics or academic goal. I thought that would really impact the way engineering colleges would see my application. But I think it's the fact that I chose to stick with activities that I was really passionate about throughout my whole high school career that made me stand out as an applicant.
So I'm a scholar here at our school, and with all the different opportunities that were available here, I made it a point to try out all of the different activities and clubs that I could join. And so I was able to write that down into my application, and I ended up being a more well-rounded student. I didn't just join something because I wanted to try it out. I made sure that I joined something that I really liked and was passionate about, and continued doing it throughout the years. And so most of my activities I'm still doing up until now.
Start earlier. I guess with the essays, my final draft, I started writing it mid-October. It was like really crunch time, but then I guess the previous drafts since like August really helped me build onto it. So I think if I started even earlier, it might not be as stressful.
Well, I'd say I definitely try to get my standardized testing done by my junior year, because I found myself in senior year, like during our first semester when we had like college apps and like worrying about predicteds, I was still studying for the SAT, which was definitely a stressful time.
I know this sounds really weird, but maybe enjoy writing my Commonapp essay, because I think it can be an enjoyable process because you have to flex in your Commonapp essay. It's just writing about what you're passionate about, and it's trying to explore who you are as a person. And so I think since I was really trying to phrase it in a sense that made me sound smarter, or like how I thought the college would want to see me as a student, I think that definitely impacted my writing in the first stages. I definitely should have enjoyed it more.
Don't hesitate to talk to your teachers about like feedback, because it's always important, especially when it comes to essays, that you have someone else reading them and not just you. Also, teachers have been going through the college application process longer than you have. Whenever you're writing an essay, just try to write out as many things as you can. Don't worry about the word limit. That's usually like 250 words for a supplement. Just write as much of it as you can and then trim down from there, because most of the time it's difficult to stay within the boundaries and try to limit yourself.
It's really about how you present yourself, regardless of what you think you have or like comparative to others. I think college admissions really focus on admitting the person, and if you present yourself in the right way, it can really appeal to the admissions officers.
I think your admissions is not solely based on your stats. Obviously it has to meet a range, like a very an academically competitive range, but it's also reflecting like something what you can bring, like pursuing what you like the most. I think that really worked to my benefit. So I think really just pursuing what you want will get you where you want to be, and also reach for the stars.
Make sure that you always leave enough time for yourself to write that essay, because it's not good to pressure yourself when it comes to writing this essay.
You shouldn't pick a school because of its name or because of its branding. You should definitely pick one that you think you would want to stay in for 4 years, not just because of its name, but because of the curriculum it offers and different opportunities. If you think you don't have strong enough stats, you should still apply regardless, because if you don't apply, then you're always going to be asking that question in your head, like what would happen if I actually did apply? So just definitely take all the chances you can get, make the most out of high school, take all the opportunities offered to you in your school.
There's always a chance for you to display what you can do. You just have to look for the opportunities and work hard, research, and make sure that you display your excellence in whatever you're doing. Of course, that helps if you're doing something that you're passionate about. Always be honest of what you're putting into the application, because they have a way of calculating how much you need. So don't worry about that. If the package that you get isn't enough for your family to be comfortable in the next few years, don't be afraid to send them an email. Just be very polite and very thankful of the financial package that they've already given you, and just ask for an extra amount on top of it.
So those were were all the tips. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, found it helpful. If you have any more requests, leave them down below because I try my best to read and reply to your comments. Class of 2023, congratulations on all your acceptances. I'm also on social media at LowHuckTDX if you want to talk, message me. Make sure to follow me. Subscribe if you haven't already joined our family. What are you waiting for? Don't miss out on exciting college content coming up. My main channel is here and my vlog channel is here. I upload new videos every week. Click the bell to turn my notifications on and click the top right eye to watch more of my videos. I have an entire College 101 series with videos I'm sure you will find helpful if you're navigating this process right now. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next week with another new video. Bye guys!